Hey, good, oh, excuse me, dropping that line. Good Wednesday evening, Pipers. Hope everybody's doing good. I am sitting here smoking a bowl of one that I've been on a kick of yesterday and today, and that's McBaron's 7 Seas Royal. I have been loving that stuff, and I'm smoking it in another pipe I've been on a kick of for the last, well, I started Saturday. I used it in Saturday's video. That's my little Savinelli Orient. It's, like I told y'all Saturday, it's toned. It's not a meerschaum, but it is toned from handling it and smoking it. It's turned a whole lot darker than it was when I bought it, and I kind of like it. It gives it its character. I'd love to go back, and I may make that a goal that I try to aim for this year, is adding a couple more of the Orients to it. I know Pipes and Cigars had them, the entire line, and if you can catch them when they're not out of stock, I'd like to add a couple more too, because there's many more shapes for this one. I don't know the number shape of this one. I do know it's a brandy. But that 7 Seas Royal paired with this joker, I think this one, the 7 Seas Royal, is the one. I think anytime I smoke the 7 Seas Royal, I'm gonna put it in this little Savinelli. I just discovered that today. And this one, this morning, this is the third bowl I've had of today, and I'm telling you, occasionally you run across them, certain pipes paired with certain blends, and you think, man, it made it even better, and this one does. And this pipe, as far as smokability, is starting to rank up there with my Bjorn and my tinderbox pot. I'll get on a kick and smoke the heck out of them and won't put them down. I know that old tinderbox pot and the little Bjorn, sometimes, especially the tinderbox pot, I'll smoke that thing a week and barely put it down for a day's rest. It's had a pretty good little rest this last week of 10 days, but it's unusual for that one to get that many days off. It's just one of my reach and grab pipes that I love, and this one hadn't been smoked a bunch in the last several months. There's been so many new ones. This is the one I bought. Actually, I couldn't figure out the other day which one of the tobacco places up there, doggone, I'm drawing a blank. Old Virginia Tobacco Companies in the D.C. area. This one came from Arlington. It was at their Arlington location, because El Magnifico said he goes to the one in Arlington, and he clicked, went back and looked at their, I still got the ticket on it. Sure enough, it was from their Arlington branch. I'm flipping back and forth, listening to Big Band, and I'm watching my, my St. Louis Cardinals are playing the Cincinnati Red, and as soon as this thing's over, I'm going to get back and watch that, as soon as this video's over with, because it is the bottom of the 5th, or maybe the top of the 6th. It is the top of the 6th now, and it is, if I can see in that right, I'm sure it's the 6th. Still tied up 0-0, so they have got a game going, let me tell you. Before going any further, I need some help with y'all to settle some conflict in my mind. I say this is a Bulldog. This is my little hard castle. I run across a pipe chart that made me question it. Is this a Rhodesian or a Bulldog? I say a Bulldog. And y'all let me know below what y'all think it is. Bulldog or Rhodesian. And like I say, I maintain it as a Bulldog, but I very likely may be wrong. I've always called it a Bulldog. But it was an eBay buy that I got a heck of a deal on. It was an unsmoked pipe, and this pipe runs about $100 online, and I stole it. Practically, I almost was worried they'd pick me up on theft charges for several days. I mean, I'm telling you, I paid less than $20 for it, and I just happened to be online one night about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. And matter of fact, I was scared the person was going to just bid it in themselves, but they let it go. $6 for 8. I had less than $25 in the whole deal. And I've never run across a deal other than that tinderbox pot. It came with 2 that I had in the $30-something range in, and occasionally you can run across some deals, but I hadn't been on eBay much here lately. You know, I began to get the fever here for a couple of 3 weeks, and then it kind of went away. I never bought a pipe. PAD, they call it, pipe acquisition disorder. PAD, I suffered for 2 or 3 weeks, and it just went away on its own. I didn't have to cave, and you know, I've got several pipes, and I'm going back and smoking some of the ones I hadn't smoked in a while. And kind of, sort of, you know, my excuse was I was going to wait till Governor's got open. He's delayed getting his pipes in for a month. He's going to have all the tobaccos, pipe accessories, and everything. So that gave me an out. I don't have to buy one now, but you know, I'm gonna wait and buy my first one from Governor's. Well, he's got some Petersons and different ones coming in, and I don't own a Peterson yet. I bad want one. Everybody needs one in their collection, and I'm gonna rat hole back a little money. That'll give me another month to rat hole a little more back. But they have got a good game going on now. I'm watching the Major League Network, MLB Network, or whatever you call it. And I'm thinking about going ahead and subscribing to that on DirecTV. It's free for several days, and you can catch any game going. And I'm thinking about going ahead and taking the plunge. I don't know if they'll let you drop it after season's over with, baseball season. But if they'll let you do it just through baseball season, it wouldn't be a bad deal. If they make you pay year round, you may not. I'm going to do some checking on it. Like I say, Governor's is going to, when he gets open, I'm holding off. I'm low on the Frogmorton cellar. I'm low on my Frogmorton on the bayou. So I'm going to buy. I'm actually wanting to, if Joe, who is opening Ash and Ember, it used to be Flag 1122, now it's Ash and Ember on his YouTube channel. I want to order some from him too. So I've got several blends that I'm holding off on those too. I'm not out, but I'm real close. And I want to order some from, I want to support Joe too. And we both need to support him, like I mentioned to y'all before. Governor's is a new one opening. Ash and Embers is another new one. And Joe is very active. Used to be Flag 1122, very active in our community. So check both of them out. They both have Facebook pages. Joe's is Ash and Ember. Friday Ellis is I'm going to introduce him to YouTube in the next week or 10 days. He and I are going to do a video. He is listed on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, go like both of them. Ash and Ember and Governor's Cigar and Pipe, and it'll, be sure it's Monroe, Louisiana. You don't have to type that in; it'll come up. And be sure to go like both of them's pages if you do the Facebook thing. But I'm out of the 7 Seas series. The only one of those bunches that I have smoked has been the Royal. I got to finish out my Mike Barron's adventure through that, and I forgot to ask him if they're going to be 10s or bulk. I hope they're bulk. But at any rate, I know Ellis is going to carry the McBaron 7 Seas, and I'll get some of that from him and get some from little from Joe. But somebody else had the catalog out the other day, and there are some deals to new pipes and cigars. I really like this freehand. Y'all see this? That's one of their fantasy freehand lines, and that's not a bad deal. $49.95, and you get all. I guess you get all that. BJ Long tapered pipe cleaners, $110 each of conic sleeve. of Richmond, Pipe Smokers Monument Avenue, and Hearth and Home, El Nino. A Vertigo Governor pipe lighter. That's a deal, y'all. That is a heck of a deal. Man. But they've got some, I hadn't had a chance to thumb through this thing, but they've got some deals on cigars, pipes, tobaccos, bulk sampler kits. Man. Boxes under $60 of cigars. I mean, it is just an awesome. And some new blends here that I haven't, maybe they've had them, but just you see them in, online. Maybe you overlook them because you're not seeing them. But there's even some new Borkum Riffs out, and I haven't. Borkum Riff was always one of my. I had a horrible experience with that, but I've had some people tell me that the new Borkum Riffs are pretty good deals. But the Camoys is one that Friday Ellis is going to carry in Governors. And I've never smoked a Camoy, but I am wanting to. They've got several good blends. Of course, he'll carry some Dunhills there too. And you get these doggone books, you get these catalogs in, and it gives you pipe fever and tobacco fever. Here's pictures of the new Captain Black's tins. Looking real forward to trying those. But Camoys has several. They got some good deals on some Rat Rays there too. Good buy on their tins. Well, it's not real good. All blends $15.95. That's not a super good deal. Camoys, there's several blends here, and they've got some aromatics, a couple of English. I want to try some of these Camoy blends. Like for instance, we've got an English Latakia, Virginia, and Oriental. Cask number 1. They've got one Virginia Burleys and Black Cavendish, topped with chocolate, vanilla, and port, maybe. Virginian Perique, Navy Flake. Virginian Burley topped with bourbon. That's cask number 5. Cask number 7, Virginia's Perique and Black Cavendish topped with aromatics. That's one I want to try. And yeah, probably the number 7 is going to be one of the first ones that I try. But yeah, this is some good smoking 7 Seas. My family, I was thinking about something this morning. When my dad worked for Stuckey's, he was involved in directly building probably 25 or 30 of them over about a 10-12 year period, and probably did some light work on probably another dozen of them, and we got to go with him. And someone had asked me the other day, of all the states we've been in, what was my favorite. Of course, been in many, many states with him. Texas 2 or 3 times. I always have loved Texas. My wife grew up in Houston. We'd go down and visit her dad. I always enjoyed going and staying 2 or 3 days, but was always ready to go home. Get out of there. But Daddy built a store out in Van Horn, Texas, that was right halfway between Midland, Odessa, and El Paso, about 100 miles either direction, either one of them. Little small town, about 5,000 people at that point. So it was just a motel, truck stop off the interstate and fuel up kind of town. We stayed out there one summer. A lot of people found it desolate, isolated. I liked it. It was desert land. I'd get up in the mornings. That was one of the last jobs he did. He contracted that he did. He went to work for them for a little while as their director of development. He became a suit and a tie guy for a couple of years. But they would, I'd go with him to the job site sometime. He'd leave out 6 o'clock in the morning, and it'd be 54, 55 degrees in the heat of summer, but now by high noon it'd be 110. But it was a different kind of 110 than it is here in Louisiana. 110 in Louisiana, you couldn't stand it. It's so humid. But out there it's a drier heat. It's hot now, don't get me wrong. And we'd go on the weekends either north to Carlsbad. You had to get out of there because there wasn't nothing to do. We'd go to Carlsbad, not every weekend, but a couple of weekends a month. We'd go to Carlsbad, go through the caverns just to get away, have something to do. Run to El Paso and look around. Back then it was safe to go across the border at Juarez. It's not so safe anymore, but we'd have a good time. And El Paso was a beautiful city to come into at night. You can see that thing for miles and miles, just the lights of it, the city lights of El Paso. I think somebody had a song out called El Paso City, you know. His name was Marty Robbins, an old country actor from popular back in the 60s and 70s. But you can see it coming in at night. Oh, it's beautiful. But I'll never forget, we had to come home when school was getting ready to start, but we didn't have to rush home to start back to school, but we had to rush home for something when we came home for good. He wasn't finished with a job. He left his pickup in Midland at the airport. We picked him up there, and he rode on with us, with my mom and my little brother in the car. And then he flew back. But we usually, on that kind, that was a long ways out there, about 1,200 miles from where we're at. Of course, we usually would spend the night. But for some reason, I can't remember what it was, but they had to get back. And they drove straight through. One was asleep, another one drive, and we rode. And I'll never forget, we drove up to our house. I was asleep. Well, no, excuse me, when we come across the line, back then they had service stations, you know, and I heard the ding of the service station bell when we come across that driveway bell there, that hole. And I was asleep in the backseat of the car. I was 11, 12 years old. And remember raising up. I'd been asleep for several hours. When I left, we were still in the dry, it wasn't very humid part of the country. Woke up and got outside to stretch your legs at that service station, and it was humid, man. You could just feel it. It was like you stepped into something. The difference between Louisiana weather and what you find out there. But I've run this thing over. On it. Thank y'all for taking the time to watch. I'm going to wrap it up. We'll catch y'all tomorrow. Let me know on this. Listen right here. I need your help. Thank y'all. God bless.